Hi, my name is Stephanie Gibson, and I am a student in the practicum program at Sam Houston State University. I have completed my second observation with my campus's safety advisor, Ms. Jeanette Langs. We were able to go over questions that I had regarding the safety school handbook, as well as take a tour around campus. I am now going to reflect on some things that she shared with me and discuss the items a little further in detail. For our interview, I compiled a list of questions based on looking at what was required from the observation. I looked at the safety handbook, I looked at the school handbook, and I also asked her for some guidance with the questions that I compiled. The first question that I asked was, how often do we as a campus need to complete safety drills on campus? With her response, she gave me the basic answer that we have to have at least one fire drill a month, and we do safety drills twice in the semester. I, however, as a person coming from a different campus, I feel like we should do safety drills more often, and also all of the types of safety drills, whether it be a hazardous material or an intruder alert or fire drill or a lockdown or inclement weather. I feel like it would be best if we could practice all of the types of drills. So far this year on campus, we have only done fire drill and lockdown, shelter in place. And so I feel like it would be beneficial to practice those drills. Reflecting a little bit on that, I previously worked at an open concept campus, and so we had no walls. I was out in the open with only bookshelves to separate me from the outside world, and I felt a little unsafe with that layout. Now I am in a courtyard with an enclosed classroom, but we have large glass windows, and so there's not a lot of options for safety. Number 2, I asked her, what kind of trainings do the staff need to attend or complete to be prepared for safety drills? She told me at the beginning of the year they allow a little bit of time during our professional week to go over updated safety drills. And also, I know personally as an employee, we take online tests that we go through PowerPoint presentations, and they let us know about the drills. And then we take a test regarding that material. And finally, I have also asked coworkers what to expect or what to do in a drill, and our safety evacuation routes are posted in our classroom. Number 3, I asked her, what kind of data do we collect regarding these safety drills? She has a book where she records what type of safety drills she conducts and when, and how it went, and her reflection upon it. I asked her, who do we turn it into? There's a safety at-risk committee that reviews the information. Do we have to meet a certain expectation? For example, I asked her if certain time limits for fire drills. She said that if it's about over 3 minutes, it's labeled as poor. And although we do not have to redo it, she tries to alert staff at what kind of went wrong with the drill and how she thinks they should improve it. I think that that's really good, because as a team we should always strive to do better, and especially when safety is concerned. Question 4, what kind of records are kept on campus? Is there a log that we keep? So I was asking her kind of, besides the safety book, is there a log? And she was explaining to me that for each item, like fire extinguishers, for example, that they keep a log for when they've been checked and if they need updated, and so that they do keep those logs. I asked her, looking at the emergency procedures book, who develops the course of action? There's an at-risk committee that meets, as well as a committee at home office. They kind of develop and decide what procedures go in the book, and that it is specific by campus because every campus is made differently. Mine is compiled of 3 different buildings with lots of glass windows and corridors, so we have specific evacuation routes dependent upon our layout. And then I asked if changes need to meet the at-risk committee. If changes need to be made, the at-risk committee does meet, and they get to make those choices. So when I was talking to her about after our safety check, she provided me with a list of what is required in Canvas. To share that with you, I have a safety data checklist that I'm going to go over. She said the number one thing is that we make sure the exterior doors are closed and locked. No doors should ever be propped open. As you see in my safety walk video, the main front entrance where a guest would enter does have the buzzer system where either the staff member can use the badge to access entrance, or or there's an intercom system where the visitor can buzz and say who they are, and the person controlling the lock will let them in. The exterior doors were closed and locked on our safety walk. Made sure the gates were locked. All gates were locked on our safety walk. There is a gate outside of my classroom in the outdoor corridor that we have had problems with being left open. Either visitors on campus have used that entrance and don't make sure it closes, or students enter it and don't make sure it closes. And so we have had problems with the community, the parents complaining that the door was left open and it is dangerous. In fact, we did have a maintenance worker on campus that's not usually at our campus. He was from home office fixing something, and he had asked me if we could leave it propped open because he did not have a access badge, and I told him no, that was against policy, but he had been seen using a ladder to prop the door open. So that concern was brought to our principal's attention and has since been dealt with. We are actually trying to get that exterior gate just turned into a fence so that there's no entrances and exits right there. We make sure the hallways are free of trash and liquids. Just safety, making sure everything's clean and safe for our students. No kids outside of class unless they have a pass. We do allow students to walk each other. We send them in groups of 2 or 3. We do allow students to go to the nurse, go to the front office if they leave home early, if they're late to school and they're going to where they're supposed to be, or if they're running a message to a teacher. They are allowed to do so, walk around campus with the proper pass. And if any student is walking around without the proper notification or pass in their possession, we are supposed to ask them where they're supposed to be and make sure they get back there, and that the teacher that was in charge of them know that they were out and about without a pass. Also, no strangers are lingering around parking lots or fences. As a kindergarten teacher, I have had this problem on the outside fence every day that we walk to school. Parents like to hang out and watch their baby walk to class, and we have tried to tell them that during the school day it's a safety concern to have them outside of the fence standing there staring, and also how would they feel if somebody was watching their children play at recess or at lunch or what have you, and we tried to tell them that they don't need to be outside of the fence. This, of course, is a safety issue because if the stranger was watching the children, we would want to prevent that and to make sure all the students were safe. The problem with people lingering around is that we don't know why they're there or the business that they have with the school. And so if nobody has the proper ID badge or a visitor's pass, it is our job to approach them, find out what's going on, and to escort them to the front office or watch them leave the premises if needed. Also, all students are being monitored. We need to make sure that students are being watched at all time. It is difficult because we are in enclosed classrooms, and we do have a phone system where we can call each other. But if a teacher needs to leave the classroom to run to the office or something like that, we need to make sure that our partner teacher is watching them so that they aren't alone in the classroom. No student should be left alone at any time. We checked to make sure all fire extinguishers were up to date. On our tour, she showed me the fire extinguisher and how it was labeled with a, that it had been checked recently, that it was free and clear, and to make sure it was fine. She did tell me that a student did get into one and use it, pull the extinguisher, and so he needed to be replaced by the safety committee. Also, no students are running in the hallways. It's an expectation that we walk, not only for our safety, but for theirs. It is not safe to have students running at any time. Reflecting upon the safety check, she shared some things with me that she does feel like that there should be more training opportunities offered to teachers, whether it be their specific area that they need to improve on, or if teachers are working with at-risk students, there might be some safety trainings that we could attend. She felt like we should look into it as a campus. I agree with her. She just wants to make sure training is sufficient for the teachers. When we take those online courses, we just breeze through the PowerPoint presentation of information. And so she's always reminding us to look at our guidebooks and to see how we can improve on our knowledge so that we can ensure student safety. There has been some incidences with students pulling the external fire alarms. The students have access to it, and what has happened before is at recess or when students have been walking in line, this actually happened twice this school year. A student pulls the fire alarm, it goes off, it alerts the cops, and the fire department comes and the police come, and that student has to talk to the police officers because it is expensive for the school, and the students get in trouble with the police officers for pulling the alarm when there is no emergency. The student gets ticketed and the parents get involved and the student gets in trouble. Another thing that Ms. Lings and I spoke about was school shootings. That is very apparent these days. It's happening a lot. That we should be prepared as teachers on what to do if there was an active shooter in our classroom. She feels like the drills that we do are not sufficient. We did a drill. I have large glass windows. Even though my exterior door closed, there's a interior hallway that connects to the next classroom that holds our restrooms. So in that hallway is a large storage closet and a boys' bathroom and a girls' bathroom. And so what we are instructed to do in case of an active shooter drill, we pile up the students in the hallway and restrooms and closet because it's an interior door. And we turn the lights off, we lock the doors, and we have instructed our students to be quiet. I try to reiterate to my students that it's just practice and that they're totally safe. But if I ever look at them and tell them to do the drill, we don't know if it's practice or if it's real, because I sometimes have trouble with the 5-year-olds following directions the first time, and I don't want to scare them. I tell them that they're going to be safe, but I want to make sure that they understand that it's imperative that we follow the drills that they talk about. Another thing that Ms. Lang shared with me was an old video, Run, Hide, Fight. It's a concept about dealing with an active shooter, and when I was researching that, it's a very interesting concept to teach the staff members to run if they can, whether it's leaving the exterior door and getting off campus, hiding from the intruders, or fighting any way necessary. Our goal is to keep ourselves and our students safe, and that is most important. When I was researching this, I was able to find a video from ABC Nightly News that went over active shooters and the drills, because some schools are doing drills with guns and with active shooters and pretending to shoot, like police officers coming in with guns, and there has been a lot of controversy. I have watched the video and I have a little bit of trouble. Half of me wants to say, yes, let's practice with guns and active police officers pretending to be active shooters. But I also would not want to scare my students. But at the end of the day, I agree that it is most important for us to be prepared. I don't think in a real situation anybody is going to actually be fully prepared. But I feel like it's very important to practice safety as much as possible. So I would like to share this video with you. So I'm going to let you watch it as part of my reflection.
Often by pretending there actually is one. These drills may help, but the drama can be intense, even if it's all an act. And it's not just the... How do you train students and teachers to prepare for a school shooter? Often by pretending there actually is one. These drills may help, but the drama can be intense, even if it's all an act. And it's not just the kids who say they're scared. Here's ABC's David Wright.
I'm gonna kill everybody! Nobody's getting out of here! It's every parent's worst nightmare, an active shooter on campus. Threatening to kill innocent kids. In this case, just a drill, but a terrifyingly realistic drill. And that's now an issue. How do you strike a balance between preparing kids and scaring the pants off them? It may be just a drill, but the trauma is real. Outside Tampa, Florida yesterday, parents and students say Jewett Middle School got it wrong. The school there held a drill without warning in which police officers showed up on campus, weapons drawn.
Our principal had announced that we were going to have a lockdown.
7th grader Lauren Marino and her siblings frantically texted their mom. Police came in with guns, and I'm kind of scared.
We actually thought someone was going to come in here and kill us.
Their mom was scared too.
Well, I'm panicking because I'm thinking that it's, a legitimate shooter's coming.
Xavier Tate was scared too. His dad raced to the school, unaware it was only a drill.
My husband almost got a ticket coming over here yesterday. He was doing 130.
The school has now apologized to the parents, and the local police chief now says officers won't use weapons in future drills, but the school will continue to hold unannounced lockdowns.
So according to that portion of the video, the school conducted an intruder alert with police officers using guns with gunshots, and they did not previously warn the parents. I would think that it would be most important to communicate with parents and to let them know what exactly specifically was happening so that parents could say they could partake in this. And I know there's other safety drills that we need to prepare for, but an active shooter is just so dominant in this world today. I found this article very interesting.
Fact is, ever since Columbine 15 years ago, the U.S. has had more than 160 active shooter incidents. That's about one a month. And as we saw in Sandy Hook, even the youngest kids aren't safe. So in school districts across the country, lockdown drills are now as common as fire drills. Some go as far as covering students in fake blood and recruiting volunteers to play dead in the hallways, all in an effort to make the drills more realistic.
Attention, this is a drill. We need to lock down.
The modern version of duck and cover.
Please go behind my desk.
The teacher locks the door, pulls down the shade. Everyone's told to keep quiet.
It's kind of scary, huh?
The kids huddle quietly under the teacher's desk.
Do you know why they do this drill?
Do you worry that this scares students?
We do, but we practice enough that we hope that students are as staff is, getting used to the idea. We have to.
How long do these go on for?
5 minutes, I think, is maybe the longest we've ever had.
The teacher in one classroom we visited in Colorado fully supports these drills. Holly Carpenter is a graduate of Columbine High School.
When you look at those kids, are you always thinking somebody could come and take away their lives like that?
No. When I look at those kids, I think how great they are, I think how lucky I am to teach them. And I think about, I wonder what they're going to be like when they grow up.
That day changed her life. It's why she eventually went into teaching, and it's why she takes these drills very personally.
I always get the lump in my throat because it's not about the flashbacks of Columbine or any of that for me. It is about the thought, oh, see, I'm getting it now. It's about the thought of anyone even wanting to hurt my kids.
The charter school where she teaches, Skyview Academy, does the basic lockdown drill most Colorado schools do.
What? Nobody's getting up.
And just last week, the teachers got a new kind of training.
So, how did you feel?
Yeah, way more empowered and lots of adrenaline.
Jody Don is a former SWAT team member who responded to 2 active shootings in Colorado.
If you see a gun like this open, what does that mean?
He's teaching them how to recognize when the shooter is reloading his gun.
He's out, right?
And teaching them defense tactics.
Oh, there you go. Good, good.
How and when to pounce.
Cowboy approach? Sure. But may it save a life?
At Skyview Academy, they're trying out the new active shooter training for teachers only. It's held at night, no students involved. In the gym, Joe D. Don and his trainers are teaching the teachers how to take down a shooter. The atmosphere? Boisterous would be an understatement.
Yeah, there you
The
go.
teachers, including Holly Carpenter, are loving it.
You think in real life you could do it? Or it doesn't matter?
But not all teachers support the staging of active shooter drills at schools. Last month, a pre-K teacher from Virginia wrote an op-ed that quickly went viral. She writes, "We are rounding up and silencing a generation of school children and terrifying those who care for them. It's time to stop rehearsing our deaths and start screaming." Of course, the pretend gunman we saw isn't really fighting back. I asked Joe D. Don about that.
But is the 100-pound teacher or student really going to be able to take down the 200-pound gunman?
So as you can see, this video also goes over concepts of fighting. So you can run, escape from the premises if possible. We have been instructed at our campus to leave the exterior doors, and we have a place, our school is in a neighborhood, and so we have a place that, a meeting, a rendezvous place that we would go off of campus, and then also teaching teachers how to fight, self-defense, when to bring the gunman down, the concept of having a gun in every classroom. I don't necessarily agree with that, but I do feel like in this day and age, it would be beneficial for us to have physical training, as we saw in the video, at our campuses to prepare for an intruder. And then also, there are teachers that are against it, as we saw at the end of that video, that do not agree in the scary concept of practicing for intruder alerts. But in this day and age, I think it's important for us to stay prepared for practicing. I think it's also good for us to look at our safety handbooks and to update as needed. If our campus change, or if our types of students changes, or our community changes, I think it's very important to be prepared for any situation, intruder, fire, weather, so that we are prepared. So I think the drills, and I agree with Ms. Lang's, where we need more training is an important concept to have. I liked this observation because it gave me kind of an inside view of how administration prepares for safety drills. And as an administrator moving forward, I think I would prepare my staff to take as much training as possible, and not just the computer programs, because I know that those can be quickly rushed through. So I would like to create scenarios and training so that all my staff feels comfortable with every safety concept that we need to cover on our campus, so that our staff and students are safe. And that would be my plan as an administrator, to put safety a priority. Thank you.